Sauce Gardner, number 4 overall pick to the New York Jets. I think this is great because he's going to an organization that actually knows what they're doing. I'll touch on that on today's episode of Locked On Bearcats.
Are Locked On Bearcats, your daily podcast on the Cincinnati Bearcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
There is no title sponsor for the episode today, but if it was, it is sponsored by Sauce because this is going to be a saucy episode. A1 sauce, whatever sauce you want to throw out there. Cane sauce, if you want to put that in there. Sauce Gardner and Jamison Williams from Alabama serve Cane's, I should say just people going through the Cane's drive-thru in Las Vegas. I believe that was on Wednesday. That happened. Sauce Gardner now the number 4 overall pick to the New York Jets. I could not be happier for him, for the University of Cincinnati, for Luke Fickell, for his family, his friends, the city of Detroit product. That's where he went to high school. That's where he is from. Ahmad Sauce Gardner from 6th on the Bearcats depth chart at the start of the 2019 season to the number 4 overall pick to the New York Jets. Thank you so much for making Locked On Bearcats your first listen every day. Alex Frank here with you on this Friday, April 29th of 2022. I almost said the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll touch on them at the end. But Sauce Gardner, the number 4 overall pick to the New York Jets, I love the pick. The New York Jets are actually, they know what they're doing. They are trying to acquire some talent. They, in this draft, in the first round last night, got Sauce Gardner as the number 4 pick at corner. He's starting week 1, by the way. They got Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. That gives Zach Wilson a really good receiver to throw the ball to. By the way, the Jets are considered frontrunners for Deebo Samuel. Then they got Jermaine Johnson. I also like that pick. So the Jets, what they're doing is they are trying to acquire talent. They are trying to build around their rookie quarterback in Zach Wilson, who, yes, did not have a great first season, but then again, he inherited an awful situation last year. It's a better situation now if you're the New York Jets. The Jets are looking to win, and I wanted Sauce Gardner to go to a team that I think he can win on. Now, Sauce was not the first corner taken off the board. It's not a shock that he was not. Derek Stingley Jr. of LSU was the number 1 cornerback taken. Fine. He went to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans, ladies and gentlemen, do not know what they're doing. The Houston Texans reached for Derek Stingley Jr. If they were smart, they would have taken Sauce Gardner. That's fine by me, though. Sauce Gardner can go play in New York. By the way, you have this personality in Gardner now going to New York, going to the Big Apple, where personalities shine. I'm going to bet you fans are going to fall in love with him just as much as fans fell in love with Darrelle Revis when he was there. Many New Yorkers made trips to Revis Island when he was there. They'll be making many trips to the Garden to watch Sauce Gardner. That might have been a reach, but anyway. I'd rather have him go to an organization that at least has history. What history do the Houston Texans have? Took them 10 years to make the playoffs for the first time. They wasted a really good quarterback talent in Sean Watson. And they have never advanced past the AFC divisional round. Now, I know the New York Jets have not won a Super Bowl since 1969. It's about the last time the Bearcats had a first-round pick. But the Jets have the sack exchange. They have Joe Namath. They have Rex Ryan era, even in New York, was okay. They've had some talent come through that organization. Great players come through. And it's in New York. The Jets are always going to be relevant, so long as they're from New York. That's just how it is. They can be terrible. And yet, they're still going to be relevant. Now you have a number 1 corner on your roster. And it's a defense in the New York Jets that I think can be pretty good. So we look at the New York Jets defense. which just got a lot better. The New York Jets just got a number one corner in Sauce Gardner. Here's the defense he'll be joining. And he'll be going up against an offense that I think can be maybe a little bit better than it was last year. So the Jets on defense right now. Let's look at their secondary first off. Right now their secondary is Sauce Gardner, Ashton Davis at safety, Jordan Whitehead at safety, just came over from Tampa Bay, Bryce Hall at the other corner. Your backups, DJ Reed, LaMarcus Joyner, Jason Pinnock, and Michael Carter II. That's not a bad secondary. Let's go to the linebackers. Deshaun Phillips, CJ Mosley, Quincy Williams. Up front, you have Carl Lawson, Sheldon Rankins, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson II, who they just added. This could be a very good defense next year. And if you're Sauce Gardner, you're going to face the Bills receivers twice. You're going to face the Dolphins receivers twice. You're going to face New England. The Jets also play the AFC North. So you're going to face Jamar Chase. You're going to face Amari Cooper. You're going to face Marquise Brown and the Ravens. There's going to be some teams to face. And then they're going to play the NFC North. So you're going to get the Vikings receivers, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. You're going to get, I would say Devontae Adams, but he, of course, went to Vegas. So you're going to be facing some pretty good receiving cores this season. This is why the Jets drafted Sauce Gardner. And who the Jets are getting, is a cornerback that did not allow a single touchdown in his career. He played well against top-notch competition. He proved that his freshman All-American season was not a fluke. He got better and better and better, so much so the team stopped throwing to him. Cornerbacks are great if you don't hear their name very often on a radio or TV broadcast, because they prevent the opposition from doing anything against them. That's why Sauce Gardner is a really, really good player. You didn't hear his name called? Yes, that means he didn't get opportunities to make a lot of plays, it seemed like. Although he did have an interception last year against Notre Dame. He also had multiple interceptions his freshman and sophomore seasons. But he was also just a shutdown corner. And the fact that he went right after Derek Stingley Jr., I think showed a lot. The number 2 corner in this draft. And I get it, Cincinnatians can be upset. I was. But at the same time, I'm like, good. He doesn't have to go to Houston. The Texans don't have a quarterback, definitively. They don't have a strong receiving core to go up against in practice. The Jets might be getting Deebo Samuel. By the way, they just got Garrett Wilson. The Texans also don't have a great defense. Yes, they have a defensive-minded head coach in Lovie Smith who's 60-somewhat years old. I'd rather go play for Robert Saleh in New York. He's going to an organization with a young, energetic head coach, with a young quarterback who has potential, a receiving core that I think can get beefed up a little bit. It did with Garrett Wilson. I think if Deebo Samuel goes to the Jets, they have a chance to be a really good offense. I think Zach Wilson is going to have a better second season than a first season. And I just like that he's going to New York. He's not going to an organization that is just an absolute dumpster fire in Houston. He's going to an organization that has a lot of history, that is very relevant, that is in the biggest television market in the United States of America. His personality is going to show, and if the Jets are good, that's good for Sauce Gardner. I can't wait for when the Bengals go to East Rutherford again next year. Because I can see, okay, how good is Sauce Gardner? Can he go up against Jamar? Can he cover Jamar Chase? Can he cover T. Higgins? Whomever he faces. But now I got to tell you about today's sponsor, one of our sponsors rather today, Built Bar. You see, and thank goodness, and I don't have to say that I've pretty much given up on all my New Year's resolutions, because I sounded like a damn broken record when I said it. But Summer is coming, and with summer, you're going to need some food on the go. Built Bars are the perfect snack to take with you on family vacations. Throw them in your bags, in your kids' backpacks. Make sure everyone has a bar so you are fueled for your summer adventures. The best part about Built Bars is that they're healthy and delicious. So no more sacrificing delicious food for health. With Built Bar, you can have both, and it's easy. All you have to do is go to built.com and order now. Built Bars make sure that there is something for everyone. You know what my favorite flavor is? I've got a lot of them. And when you think about Built Bars, they only contain 130 calories, only 4 grams of sugar and net carbs each, and 17 grams of protein. You compare that to a candy bar, yeah, they usually have 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. But at Built.com, you can go to Built.com and get all your favorites: banana cream pie, raspberry, double chocolate, and so many more. They are all delicious, and new flavors are coming out all the time. Check them out at Built.com, and you can go to Built.com and use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Thanks for making Locked On Bearcats your first listen every day. Now time for a big announcement. For the first time ever, Locked On is hosting live coverage of the 2022 NFL Draft from our studios in Dallas with pick-by-pick analysis from our local team experts and draft gurus. Tune in all 3 days as our draft team guides you through every pick and every trade in real time. It all starts on Thursday, April 28th, which was last night, of course, 7 p.m. Eastern. Available on Locked On NFL on YouTube and the Odyssey app. Excuse me, Alex Frank here with you, Locked On Bearcats. Friday, April 29th, 2022, the day after Sauce Gardner chosen number 4 overall by the New York Jets. He will be, I would think, an immediate starter in week 1. Of course, the NFL schedule comes out next Thursday, May 12th. Maybe the Bengals will play at the Jets week 1, and Sauce Gardner's first matchup will be against Jamar Chase. We'll find out. I found the first round of the draft to be a really interesting, fun, riveting experience. Only one quarterback was taken. I love the pick by the Steelers, even though I don't like the Steelers. Kenny Pickett going number 20 to the Steel City. Doesn't even have to change cities. Doesn't have to change stadiums. I think it's a great pick by the Steelers. I think he's an immediate week 1 starter. I definitely think he's better than Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. I was shocked that he was the only quarterback taken. I thought Malik Willis could have gone. I thought Desmond Ridder had a chance to go. I think he should have gone. I think he's a first-round talent. I think whichever team gets him in the second round, he better go in the second round, is getting a steal. I think the class of receivers was really talented. I think the offensive line class was really talented. The defensive line class. It is interesting to me. Trayvon Walker goes number 1. You look at his stats from last year, you wonder how the hell he went number 1. But that's the unpredictable element that this draft has. Love that Aiden Hutchinson stayed home with the Detroit Lions. I like the New York Giants going after in the trenches with Kayvon Thibodeau on the defensive end, and then Evan Neal as their left tackle. The Bengals, I like their pick with Daxton Hill. I like that he's a versatile player in the secondary. I think Lou Anarumo will like that, their defensive coordinator. I did not like Tyler Linderbaum going to the Ravens, only because, of course, the Bengals, I wanted him to go there. But he ends up going to a division rival. So, I guess we can't have everything in life. I will say this. It was interesting because this was an unpredictable draft. And I know the quarterback class is not as strong as it's been in years past. But I didn't think that took away the fun of this year's draft. Because you have all these quarterbacks day 2, day 3. There's still some other talent out there that can go. I mean, we're obviously going to hear 8 more Bearcats. Their names potentially called. I will say this too. 5 defensive players from Georgia go in the first round. 5 defensive players. We talk about how good that Georgia defense was last year. I don't think we truly know how great it was or truly knew until last night. 5 players. Trayvon Walker, Jordan Davis, Quay Walker, Lewis Seen, and DeAndre Wyatt, all going in the first round. Defensive players going in the first round. It's amazing to me. More on the NFL draft and what happens for the Bearcats, the remaining Bearcats, today and tomorrow. But first, I need to tell you about Bet Online because it is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all of the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to the playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. And once again, thank you for making Locked On Bearcats your first listen every day. Alex Frank here with you. This has been a fun draft week. Major thank you to Russ Heltman. Major thank you to Caroline Fenton. My guest this week on Locked On Bearcats. Thank you for listening. This is a really fun week for Cincinnati. I think Sauce Gardner is going to be a remarkable fit in New York with his personality. I think he's going to be a great player. I think fans are going to love him. I think he's going to invoke some hope into the Jets. The New York Jets, I think, is that's one of the teams that won the first round of the draft. They got a stalwart on defense, a stalwart on offense, and then they double down with another defensive player. I really like what I'm seeing from the New York Jets right now, and I like that Sauce Gardner is going there. We still got 6 rounds to go. Desmond Ridder did not get his name called last night. That's okay, because there are teams that could draft him, that can draft him tonight. I think he should go tonight. I think he should have gone, last night. But we look at round 2, and we look at teams that could draft him. Tennessee's got the 35th pick. That is, I believe that might be a trade. I'm trying to find out if it was or not. I think it was. You got the Titans at 35. You've got maybe the Texans at 37. You've got Seattle at 40 and 41. You've got Atlanta at 43, Detroit 46, New Orleans 49. I'm just scrolling on down. You've got Atlanta 58. I mean, a wild card, but I don't think they'll take a quarterback. San Francisco 61. A lot of options for Desmond Ridder to go to. A lot of options for Alec Pierce to go to. Tomorrow might be the day you might hear some Bearcat names called. As far as the Bengals, I would say, they got a player at a position of need in round 1. Now you can go after, further bolstering your secondary, tight end maybe go after an offensive lineman. Never know who you can find in those late rounds. I've been hearing talk about them getting a punter at the year after they got a kicker. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, the unpredictableness of the draft last night, and the fun, riveting experience it was to see the scene in Vegas of all those people at the draft. That was really cool. I think Vegas did a phenomenal job with the backdrop, with the scenery, with the aesthetics. I think it was a phenomenal experience to watch on television, and to see players, the raw emotion when they get called, understanding that their lifelong dream to play football, they're going to get paid to play football, a lot of money. It's going to change their families' lives. It's going to change their future kids' lives. You got to feel happy for them. And thank you for making Locked On Bearcats your first listen every day. Now go make your second listen Locked On NFL Draft. Ryan Tracy and former NFL cornerback Eric Crocker bring the NFL Draft to life every day with insight and analysis on college football prospects and NFL front offices. It's free and available everywhere you get your podcasts. Next week, we'll have a full breakdown of the NFL Draft. It may be some men's basketball news. In fact, we will, because Landers Nolly II committed from Memphis. So we'll touch on that. Efforting some guests. We're going to start some off-season content here soon. We're going to talk about if there was a 30 for 30 on the University of Cincinnati, what would the topic be? My 5 most memorable sports moments. 5 most memorable I was there moments from Cincinnati sporting events, the Bearcats. I also have one in general, which I think you might know what my number 1 is. Or maybe you know. My player rankings from the Bearcats football roster, 1 through however many players are on the roster. That's going to be a fun series. We'll look at roster bat. We'll look at roster depth groups, positions. It's going to be a lot of fun this offseason. It's my first time around, so I don't know. I may not know what I'm doing, but you know what? I'm certainly going to give it a whirl, and I hope you're along for the ride because it's going to be fun. But I just kidding. I do know what I'm doing, but it'll still be fun. Thank you for making Locked On Bearcats your first listen every day. Now go make your second listen Locked On NFL Draft, as Ryan Tracy and former NFL cornerback Eric Crocker bring the NFL Draft to life every day with insight and analysis on college football prospects and NFL front offices. Is free and available everywhere you get your podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Frankie_90 with 2 N's and NATI. You can follow me on Instagram, AlexFrank_, or email me at alex3frank@gmail.com. And if you're watching on the Locked On Bearcats YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share a comment. Or if you're downloading from audio platforms, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast, to like, share a comment, and give it a rating, because all of that helps more Bearcats fans like you find us. I'm Alex Frank for Locked On Bearcats. Have a great weekend. I'll be back next weekend. And I also should be on NFL draft coverage partially tomorrow from Charleston, South Carolina. That's where I'll be posted up. So be on the lookout for that on the Locked On Info YouTube channel and the Odyssey app. And I'll be back next weekend for a full draft recap. Thanks again for listening. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Or on Monday, on Monday. Saturday, though, for draft coverage. Monday for Locked On Bearcats. Have a great weekend, everybody.